special. It is amazing what you can find out on WikiLeaks, so I'll tell you that. It is my pleasure to introduce Dick Wertzberger to you today as our speaker. In order to give him the appropriate due that he has deserved, we have a tremendous amount of talent in this community, in this room, and it would be far be it for me to not recognize Dick for the talents that he possesses. So if you'll give me a second, I will share those with you. He is Senior Vice President and Manager for Mortgage Loan Production at Landmark National Bank, and has worked 25 years for the bank and with direct responsibilities in mortgage lending. He holds a degree from Loras College and Florida Atlantic University. He is a graduate of the American Bankers Association National Commercial Lending School and Mortgage Banking School. He has been married to Linda for 44 years, and they have 4 children and 5 grandchildren, quite an accomplishment in itself. He has been the featured speaker at the Kansas Realtors State Meeting, the American Bankers Association State Meeting, the Community Bankers Association, and the National Mortgage Bankers Association. So please genuflex when you see him down the road here. So he is a president of the Kansas Mortgage Bankers Association, past president, I mean, the Nebraska Mortgage Bankers Association, and past chairman of the Heartland Community Bankers Real Estate Bankers Committee. He is past president of the Manhattan Rotary Club, ours right here, Solar Kiwanis, and the Manhattan Comfort Club. Past chair of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce Military Relations Committee, and past chair of the Housing and Consumer Credit Counseling in the community here. He is currently treasurer of the Manhattan Area Housing Partnership, president of the Grand Night Council 8488 of St. Thomas More, and board president of the Guardians, of which he's going to speak to us today. But more importantly, he has 396 connections on LinkedIn. May I introduce Mr. Dick Wertzberger. Thank you.
Okay, so if you look on the website or you read Vernon's email, you were expecting a speech on water. So I guess you'll get muddy waters without the soul. But, as your program chair, I've been very fortunate not only to have a great committee, and it's just been an absolute delight once my arm healed from the twisting by Dale Bradley to chair that. But you know, you run into situations where a speaker can't make it, and our speaker for today could not, and so it actually worked out very well that, you know, I was scheduled to speak May 18th, I think, and so he and I kind of switched, and really with what's coming up tomorrow, that I'm gonna hopefully have Vern tag team with me. This was a good time to talk to you about an agency or an entity that's very near and dear to my heart, and quite frankly, the more I look out here among this group, I'm really the wrong person to be up here talking about it, because many of you that I look out into this room were the genesis for starting the Guardians. And people like Tom Hintz, C. Clyde, Brad Roberts, Dale Bradley, you know, Steve Lambert, and obviously Vern as our president of the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation was very instrumental in getting this entity going. So we originally, I mean, I think if you look up our corporate structure, we're technically the Guardian Angels, but every time someone asked about that, they would say, "Oh, are you a motorcycle group?" Well, I don't wear leather usually, but so, you know, and I vividly recall a radio interview when we were promoting one of our signature events that you know, the DJ said, "Oh yeah, that's you guys from New York?" I said, "No, that's a different entity. That's a different. They wear red or something. I don't know." But anyway, we felt that the more appropriate name would be to be the Guardians. And if you'll bear with me, we've got a slide presentation to go through to give you a little bit more information about that. And so, again, with many of the Rotarian members here seated and not in attendance today, the genesis of a need to help men with immediate financial needs to live with hope and dignity, this mission statement was formulated to seek what would then become our vision, which, as you can see on the screen, is helping men with limited resource and immediate financial needs within our community, and to provide access to funds essential that are not really met by those traditional service agencies, and so that they have the opportunity to live with hope and with dignity. So from that, we began back in 2013. A group of nearly 75 dedicated and caring men formed our organization, and we have our own website, gafund.org, and it's to help men in the Manhattan region, you know, obtain those goods and services that are critical to their health and well-being. And you know, the last bullet is that actually this group was prompted by the growing success of the Manhattan area fairy godmothers. And again, as I look out among you, in particular the women, many of the Rotarians also were involved with the origination of the fairy godmothers. And they are dedicated to helping women with similar financial needs. And of course, you know, that last bullet point kind of deserves special mention, because again, you know, the women were first in recognizing unmet needs in our community, and they've been extremely successful. Actually, I've done this event in the past where I've gotten to tag team with the president of the Fairy Godmothers, and a great organization. So anyway, if you'll bear with me, I'd like to take just a few minutes to describe how it all works. And so members of the Guardians and generous corporate donors, you know, contribute funds into our endowed fund that's managed by the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation. And then expenditures, grants are made from these expenditures each year, and also income from the endowed fund, and we have some funds that we can utilize for issuing grants. And our hope and our goal is that this fund will continue to grow, and since I think I'd stumble over the word, forget it, providing more and more. I did get an A in English.
Perpetuity.
Thank you. You typed this up, didn't you? I'll talk to you later. The endowed fund will grow. It's gonna grow, man. It's gonna grow. So, here's your current board. As I mentioned, I have the honor to serve as the president. As you can see that list, you can see a lot of Rotarians in that mix, and as Dale Bradley, I'll give special recognition, was also part of that original board and just recently retired from that. And you know, one of the things is we don't actually meet with those men in need. They seek help through these agencies that you see listed on the screen, and then the application itself comes to us, and then those decisions are made. And so we work with these agencies, and we instruct them that in order to receive the grants, we ask, as you can see above there, that the men be at least of age, and that we do insist on it remain anonymous. And these are funds to cover immediate needs that aren't really addressed by the other social service agencies. And we were fortunate to be able to make these monies available throughout the year. We set kind of a monthly budget goal, if you will, as far as looking at funds available that we have to distribute. And fortunately, we're able to stretch it for the entire 12-month period. So I have to say, and again, I know he's not here today, I don't see C. Clyde, but C. Clyde is our current chair of our grants committee. I know Brad sits on that as well. But it's an extremely expedient process, because the committee gets together either in person or via email or phone and make their decisions so that the funds are available within 48 hours. And we pay those directly to the vendor, with the need that they have. And then, we ask, through the social agencies that hopefully that these people will consider paying it forward and being able to help someone else in a similar type position. And as you can see, our current maximum award to an individual recipient is $600. And if you'd like to really see the entire list of people we have granted those requests, you can again direct that activity to our website. You can see a list of that out there. Going way too fast. Told you started it too early. Anyway, I remember when I was president. When do I start? All right, I digress. But anyway, here's some examples of our funds that we've been able to help people with. And it's auto repairs, furniture, and in particular, a bed to sleep on. I think earlier I mentioned that we ask or encourage recipients to pay it forward. We had kind of we're still young, but we kind of had our first annual meeting where we invited potential new members, but certainly our current Guardian membership, to an annual meeting. And at that annual meeting, Vern was able to convince 2 recipients to come and address us. And I got to tell you, you could hear a pin drop to hear these 2 men get up and tell us what it meant to receive those funds. And I think one man had just gotten an offer for a job. Is that correct, Vern? And I mean, this guy, he was about to become, they were, I think, both incarcerated.
Right.
And so they were trying to get back out into the community to be a contributing member of society. And it was extremely moving. And I was just amazed, because, quite frankly, you just don't expect that to happen. But anyway, it was very moving. So last year we awarded 52 grants, and as you can see, kind of the laundry list of what we do. Primarily auto repair. you know, they've got an older vehicle typically that, you know, will break down. And then, as you saw earlier, a lot of these, you know, a lot of times people think it's women that are in the emergency shelter, but there's men there too. And so as they try to move out and back into an apartment of their own, they have no furniture, and quite frankly, what they need is a bed. And so you can see what, you know, it kind of ranges the gamut, but primarily it's auto repair. And I suspect it's similar to the ladies.
Quite a bit.
So right now our membership is made up of about 150 individuals, and as our list grows, we ask that our members embrace our mission and really know, and that's part of the reason that I'm trying to come out and be an advocate for the Guardians, and to let people know that their donations do make a difference. And if those members so choose, we certainly would appreciate help on some of our working committees or our advisory board. We just welcomed two new members to our board, and said goodbye to a few others, and for all their wonderful service. So obviously, like any organization like the Guardians, we like to grow and add new members. And so what we have out there is on the tables is a little brochure about the Guardians and some of the different contribution levels that you could do if you aren't already a member, and certainly would ask for your consideration to get involved. So because of how we're set up, that your donation is tax deductible, I really have to give a shout out to Vern. I mean, you know, the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, you know, when I show you the funds that we have available, yeah, it's good, but it's not what I would consider significant. But, you know, thanks to the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, organizations like the Guardians can have the funds we do have professionally managed, and helps that fund grow. And so, you know, you can, you know, leave a legacy to men in the Greater Manhattan area, and then while it's not a requirement, we would hope that, you know, you see the worthwhile efforts that's going in, that we do make a difference, and that you would consider annually donating funds towards the Guardian Angels. And being a Guardian is also, you could do it by honoring some man that has played a special role and made a difference in your life. As you can see, a husband, son, brother, maybe a man who's been a guardian to you in your life, or even a younger man that I know many of you here are actually mentors to someone else. And we're not all, we also have two signature events. And last year was our, I may pick on Brad Roberts here a little bit, that was our second year, correct?
Correct.
That was our second year of Blues and Bourbon, and I wanted to have bourbon and cigars to feed my habit, but they convinced me otherwise. But actually, this has really been a growing event. We have a bourbon tasting, some heavy hors d'oeuvres, and then we bring in some very top-notch acts. The group that performed for us last year, Josh Hoyer, Brad, he ended up being one of the finalists on
The Voice.
The Voice. So we were very fortunate to have him and his band perform for us. So, you know, we want to continue that event, and we ask that you might consider coming to the event. It's going to be June 9th at the Wareham, and we have 3 levels. I think we're going to make it something fancier than just give me your money, but anyway, at the upper level, you have an opportunity to have individual tasting. Brad, I should say, is lined up with the ownership of Harry's to sit a limited number, I think 24, 28 people, to really have an in-depth bourbon tasting experience and dinner. And then obviously to come over to the Wareham and participate in the concert. And then you can also at the mid-level do the bourbon tasting and heavy hors d'oeuvres as well as the concert. Or if you just want to come and hear the band, we also have that. And as anyone who's ever put together an event knows, whether it's a golf event, whether it's this event, the ability to be successful in your fundraising efforts is sponsorships. And I would hope that you would consider those if you would like. We're also looking for sponsorships. Our other event is, speaking of the Fairy Godmothers, they started their golf tournament a few years ago. And last year we were able to partner with them. And so we're going to continue that partnership. This is our other big event that we partner with the Fairy Godmothers, and it'll be September 25th out of Colbert Hills. And for the golfers, right, they have to play in our tournament, and then, at least this one, maybe the breadbasket. I mean, there's a lot of tournaments, but anyway, this is extremely worthwhile, and it does help us fund our grant needs. Right here is kind of a summary of our funds and our balance accounts at the end of the year. And I'm going to kind of give you an opportunity, if you want to donate or become a member or renew your membership to the Guardians. There's a tremendous opportunity happening tomorrow, and I'm going to yield the podium to Vern to talk about the Grow Green Match Day.
Thank you.
Well, it's probably great that Phil's not able to be here today so that I can talk more about him. One of our own, Phil Howe, obviously, many of you know that he is the matching donor for Grow Green Match Day. Phil's in Phoenix for a wedding this weekend, so he called me and said he wasn't going to be able to be there tomorrow. But this started a few years back. In the first year, Phil put up $40,000 to see what we could achieve with a 50-cent match. We raised $100,000 that year. He took the unlimited match off, and last year's day resulted in $421,000 to 46 nonprofits in the community. The nonprofits that we support with our cup funds each month are all involved in this whole process. This year there are 51 nonprofits in the community. Many people ask, well, how do you get to be a part of it? Well, the premise here is that every nonprofit has to have an endowed fund. So the gifts from the community go into the endowed fund, and then Phil's match goes into the operating fund. Now that is tough for some nonprofits because they feel like they want the money, they need the money right now, and we understand that. The origination of this all based on the Kansas Health Foundation. When we started the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, it was based on a grant to basically help nonprofits start a sustaining element so that they would stay in existence all the time. So we kept the same theme going forward, thus the reason that they need to have a nonprofit. It's many of them, surprisingly enough, have caught on to the theme, and they actually take their match and put into the endowment as well. Some don't, but it's been inspiring to see those that do. So tomorrow, in a 24-hour period, midnight to midnight, I usually try to make the first gift at midnight to make sure the system's working so I don't have to scamper around. But you can make a gift online, growgreenmanhattan.com. If you want to do it online, you can access it there. You can't yet. It won't be triggered, won't be turned on until midnight. So in that process, you can do that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're in the Colony Square lobby. Many of you have been there before, so you know what I'm talking about. So you'll have a menu of the 51 nonprofits that you can participate, of which the Guardians are a member of that, or part of that, and as well as the Fairy Godmothers and several of the nonprofits. So your gift there will go into their fund or into the endowed fund of that organization, and then the match will go in when Phil makes his payment in the following week. So rest assured, I'll be keeping him apprised of how much he needs to save and when he comes back to Kansas, so that he knows what he's getting into. But 1,600 gifts were made last year for that $421,000 basically. We raised about $330 for the day, and he matched the rest there. So, and it's amazing tribute to one of ours. You know, Phil Howe's generosity stems far beyond match day. Many of you know he has the Howe Family Foundation. I have to really be careful when I talk, when I'm in Phil's presence, because when I first took this job over, you know, his comment says, "Where are the needs? Where are the needs?" You know, and so, you know, in just casual conversation. So now when I talk, we've had these conversations, I have to be very careful that he's not, "Okay, let's do it." And I said, "Phil, I'm not asking for money." And he goes, "That's all right, we need to do it, let's do it." And so it's really, it's a matter of his testament, but he's really one of us. That same theme is prevalent by many of you in this room. Maybe we don't do it quite to the level that Phil does, but you're going to be there tomorrow, I know. You're supporting charities that aren't part of that list tomorrow. And it's a testament for this community. And I just appreciate the opportunity to have individuals like Dick, not only his talent, but you know, we're friends and neighbors, and we can have fun with each other in this whole process. Giving the mic to a fundraiser is not always fun for anybody, but rest assured, I've got it all year next year, so wait till that. So I thank you, and we'll let him go. So, did anybody see my lips moving when he was? So that's the match day. If anybody got questions, we can handle it from there. But Dick, sure.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so that concludes our presentation. So I don't know if we got time.
You got time for a couple
Hey,
questions?
I got time. All right, any questions?
I
Yes?
have a question, Dick. You talked about the endowed funds and then the expendable funds. So are there times when you can take money out of the endowed funds to be able to use them?
Well,
Are there policies that dictate that?
It takes board, go ahead, since you wrote the bylaws.
Just like universities, the principal mission of an endowed fund is to lock up the money that's the endowed fund and use only the interest earnings on it. And so consequently, the spending policy of the Community Foundation is 4%, just like Kansas State University Foundation. So we basically right now on all our endowed funds, in January, that interest earnings of 4% gets put into all the funds, and then they can spend it from there. So,
Good question. Yes, Chris?
What are the membership levels?
It is in the brochure. I mean, obviously, we take anything, but there's.
it's a heartbeat. That's the membership level.
So, you know, we have different levels, so it's in there, Chris.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Do the Fairy Godmothers and the Guardians ever work together for a family? Have we ever done that?
I don't know that situation has come in, but it's a very unique opportunity. Most of the cases that come to us, since we're not the first line, they come to us from the 9-10 nonprofits that serve us. So none of that has come forward yet that I know of anyway, but if that would happen, the possibility could exist from the emergency shelter, because that's where families kind of check in sometimes. But the unfortunate part about it is in this community of need, the sad fact is that a lot of times there aren't two married spouses in the process. So.
Where we really work well with Fairy Godmothers is the tournament that we had last year. They allowed us to come into the tournament and get 50% of the proceeds that came in. So it really helped the Guardians be able to do that. It's one of our biggest fundraisers that we have of the two.
A follow-up with Dee Dee,
Yeah,
yes.
the slideshow mentioned an organization I hadn't heard of before, the